Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of 8 Weeks to the Essential 8. In this episode, we're going to discuss patching applications and operating systems. Technically, patching operating systems and patching applications are two separate strategies, but since they have very similar requirements, I've decided to just group them together. So the ACSC defines these strategies as patch applications, for example, Flash, web browsers, Microsoft Office, Java, and PDF viewers, and patch and mitigate computers with extreme risk security vulnerabilities within 48 hours. Use the latest version of applications. And for patch operating systems, is patch and mitigate computers, including network devices with extreme risk security vulnerabilities within 48 hours. Use the latest operating system version, don't use unsupported versions. Patches are fixes and software code that address security gaps, add new functionalities, or repair broken functionalities. These patches usually come in the form of an update, for instance, the notifications you've inevitably received for Windows 10, Adobe Reader, or Android or Apple system updates on your phone. Everyone dreads these updates, but it's vitally important we stay on top of patches to minimize security risks. Why? Because cybercriminals are constantly keeping track of new exploits, bugs, and vulnerabilities in software. So while you're hitting the update later button, they've already set up a game plan on how they're going to take advantage of these exploits to gain access to your network for their own gain, whether that's to hold your system's ransom or to extract your confidential data. In fact, about 57% of data breaches are attributed to poor patch management and human error. So that's why it's vital that you always stay one step ahead of potential adversaries and their latest methods of exploitation by committing to patching your applications. So let's go on to patching apps and operating systems maturity level 1 requirements. Requirement 1. Patches, updates, or vendor mitigations for security vulnerabilities, internet-facing services, and operating systems of internet-facing services are applied within 2 weeks of release or within 48 hours if an exploit exists. Requirement 2 is patches, updates, or vendor mitigations for security vulnerabilities in Office productivity suites, web browsers and their extensions, email clients, PDF software, security products, and operating systems of workstations, servers, and network devices are applied within 1 month of release. Requirement 3. A vulnerability scanner is used at least daily to identify missing patches or updates for security vulnerabilities in internet-facing services and operating systems of internet-facing services. Requirement 4. A vulnerability scanner is used at least fortnightly to identify missing patches or updates for security vulnerabilities in Office productivity suites, web browsers and their extensions, email clients, PDF software, security products, and operating systems of workstations, servers, and network services. And requirement 5. Internet-facing services, Office productivity suites, web browsers and their extensions, email clients, PDF software, Adobe Flash Player, security products, and operating systems that are no longer supported by vendors are removed or replaced. So, where do you start? As an enterprise or organization, especially one with hundreds of employees and devices, managing patching can become a real pain. Unless you have implemented whitelisting or mobile device management, it can be really difficult to keep track of every application, software, browser, and even plugin that has been installed on your systems. You can send email blasts out to your users to remind them to update when a new patch comes out, but as I mentioned, no one likes updating their devices, and many users may just put it on the back burner, which can cause serious gaps in your cybersecurity for attackers to exploit. The best way to keep on top of patching yourself is to create a patch management plan and policy. To do this, you first start with an inventory of all your devices, your operating systems, your browsers, and your third-party applications your users have installed on your network, and then segment them into high and low risk categories. Once you've done this, create a policy that establishes which applications will be patched and when, and under what conditions. For example, someone with admin privileges may need to patch applications automatically, while standard user accounts are offered a more flexible time frame. Another example is setting a 24 to 48 hour time frame for operating system updates, but allowing a 1 to 2 week time frame for browser or non-critical updates. After you have your policy in place, follow up with audits to ensure your employees and end users are compliant, and review and optimize your policy to ensure you are following the best practices. Don't want to keep track of patches manually? Luckily, there's plenty of software or IT companies out there that can do the grunt of the work for you. By employing software vendors or a managed service provider, you can automate updates and patches to a granular level and set and forget it, revising occasionally to ensure patches are rolling out correctly. eStorm Australia offers a monitoring and maintenance plan called SmartGuard, which starts at about $45 per user and covers everything from patching, application management, user account management, and more. And that's it for patching applications and operating systems. As usual, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and I'll see you next week.